morning, Leah.
Hey,
How are you?
good. I'm gonna get myself situated here.
I love this.
Perfect.
So we just met, what was it? Probably almost 2 weeks ago when we did a Wim Hof breathing workshop, which was amazing, right?
Yeah, quite the experience.
Right? What did you think about the cold plunge?
Um, first of all, what I realized is I wasn't expecting it to be. I mean, it's a shock to get into 40-degree water that you don't really think that it's. I don't know. It was just so that I thought I could handle, and it was like. But what I realized is I didn't prepare enough. So you know how we prepared in class,
Yeah.
and then we had all that time before we actually did the plunge.
Yeah.
And I thought, I should have probably have really stepped back from everybody and done some preparation prior to getting in. I did fine. I was fine, but it was. I'm going to do it again,
Yeah.
and see how it works the second time
Yeah.
with preparation.
I would say so. I do it on the regular when I go to Arizona. We don't have any here in Boise yet. One day I'm gonna bring it here. But every time I go to Arizona, I go over to Michael's place. Why can't I think of the name? Optimize.
Optimize. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes. And what I like about that is that you spend 20 minutes already getting hot. Then you go into the water, and then afterwards you go to a hot tub. This one, when we just went straight in the ice baths and no hot tub afterwards, it took me an hour for my body to regulate. And I was like, oh, I like doing it optimized where you can go straight into a hot tub and it just regulates your body super fast, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so try that.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna. I have him on my list to go check out his facility.
It's amazing. I'm a huge Optimize fan. So I'm so excited that you're here because we're going to bring your book in. And how I do that is we're going to first drop into our bodies because the body is a space of wisdom. And then we're going to invite our angels to be here with us to hold this space. And then we'll invite your book in. Does that sound good?
Cool. Great.
Okay. So I want you to palms up on your knees, shoulders up, and you're going to open your heart. And you're going to take a nice deep breath in from the crown of your head all the way down to your toes. So you're going to breathe in and breathe out. And we're going to breathe in and breathe out. There we go. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to really pour this golden light through our nervous system to help bring it into a place of wholeness and rest so that we can really receive. It's easier to channel when our nervous system is more nurtured. So we're just going to breathe in this golden nectar. Let this golden nectar move from the crown of your head all the way down to your toes, bringing you into this beautiful place of safety. We're going to call on all of our angels, our guides, our leaders, those who are here to help you write this book, to help you with your purpose. We're going to invite them in and through the divine light to come and sit with us, to hold this space for us to hear your book. And then we're going to prep our bodies. So we're going to ask that the divine light will touch our ears so we can spiritually hear what needs to be heard. The divine light will pour through our third eye to have access to all of our spiritual gifts. The light will cleanse our lips that we speak only what needs to be spoken. So breathing in and out. Whew, there we go. So in this space, we're going to invite your book and into the divine light to come and sit with us. So we're going to invite it to show us in a vision, to feel, to know, to hear what message your book wants to give us today. So let's just sit for a second, and I'm going to just anything you see and hear and feel, I want you to share with me, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for being here with us in this beautiful, sacred book channeling session. And if you felt the stir in your heart that it is time for you to write your book, then I am so excited to tell you that I am going to give you my sacred creative process that allows authors to channel their books. Just click the link below in the description and you will have immediate access to learning the tools on how you will channel your book. Okay, so interesting. So the book is showing me that there is like a shape that has been given to it, and it doesn't want a shape. It's showing me it wants pure freedom. It doesn't want any shape. It wants to be able to ebb and move in whatever shape it wants to be. So it really is like, don't put it in a box. Let it be pleasantly, like, let yourself be pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
What do you hear? What is that?
You know, I've thought about a book for a long time, and people have always told me who know me. It's like, you know, Leah, just write your book and you know, forget the schooling, because, you know, I went to school, I got my master's in addiction counseling, I went and did all this, the trauma, you know, certifications and stuff, and spent a lot of time and money, and they're like, just write your book. It's like, if people just know your story, it's like that gives you credibility. And since then, you know, I've had a whole another lifetime of experience since even that time. So, and, you know, my thought has been, is like, I feel like there's several books, but which one is it to come forth? And it's like, do I write one on my experience as a mom of a addict in recovery? Do I, you know, my journey with the addiction world, my journey with narcissism, it's like, you know, there's so many, my spiritual journey, because I've been on my spiritual journey for decades. Yeah. So anyway, it's just interesting that it says, don't give it a shape, like, don't put it in. So to me, when I hear that, it's like, don't put it into a category. No, just,
yeah. It's interesting because it shows me, because I receive in visions. That's how I hear. And so it's weird. It's like somebody stuck inside of like a sheet kind of look. Like it's like, and it's like, no, I don't want any sheet. I don't want any parameters. So the book is saying, you begin to write. And if you can begin to channel write, the book will show you what it is. So it is also showing me it's not a bunch of different books, even though you have a line of books that want to come through. This book is like, it's like stew, right? So like stew is kind of like, you kind of pull a bunch of stuff from your fridge and then you can make this delicious stew. The book is like stew, which means it's going to take pieces from all these things that you're saying. They all are going to come together to make this really beautiful, oh, I'm hearing it. It's going to be a healing brew. So this book is like a healing brew. It's like the broth that you give somebody when they're weak and when they need nourishment. So this book is like a broth that's going to nourish those who need it right now.
Which makes sense, because one of the things, and this was decades ago when I was going through a very horrific divorce, and I wanted to write a book because of my background and because I think of my training, my experience, and just my whole spiritual journey, I had a very, as horrific as it was, I was able to put myself into a mindset that was very different. And I had people who wanted to ghostwrite my book. And I said, I'm not, but they wanted to do a political angle on it. And I said, no, I'm not writing a book. There's got to be a healing aspect. I'm not writing a book just to go spiel my story, because that doesn't do anybody any good. Yeah. I want to be able to write something that's going to help somebody through. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I'm not doing a political angle. I'm not doing I don't want that.
Well, what's interesting is that if you look at broth, right? Because it keeps sharing with me. I keep hearing it's like I'm a broth. I'm a broth. You give broth to people who are so like they're ill and they can't actually like stomach more food, right? So there's something about the people who need this book, they can't receive the meat yet. They're like they need something that's just going to give them nourishment, heal them so that they have the strength to go to the next space. Right?
You got it. Yep.
So this is going to
Yep.
be the battle that you have, though, is that you're extremely, extremely smart. And you have an extraordinary amount of library wealth inside of your mind. That's going to be the battle. The battle is you're going to want to write it from there. But that's not where the book wants to come from. It wants to come from your heart. And it wants to come through in a way that only a heart can touch somebody else's heart.
Okay, good. Makes sense.
Yeah. So anytime you start to feel blocked, anytime you start to feel like where if it gets any sort of hard, that's because you're writing it from your mind.
Okay.
But if you're channeling it and you're writing it from your heart space, it will flow like water.
Yep, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So let's feel into, there's like another message that I can hear. So I'm going to drop into your heart space. Okay. So I want you to think about the person right now who might be in a relationship with a narcissist, who might be in either relationship with an addiction, someone who's an addict, or they have children that are addicts, or like their world is foggy, cloudy. I want you to drop in your heart, and I want you to feel into what is the message that you could share with them that's going to give them the strength, because most people who are in those situations don't have the strength to pull themselves out. So what would the message be that you would give them? Because that message is going to be a core piece to your book.
Mm. It's funny because when you say narcissism, somebody's in a relationship with an addict, or they've got, it's like, when I see it, those are two different people. But it's interesting because the addict that came to mind is that, the narcissist that came to mind is also an addict. But I saw them as two separate, one's a narcissist, one's an addict. And I said, oh, no, actually he is an addict because he's a narcissist too, but he was also an addict.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or is an addict. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. But the thing is that the message says, that's what I say, when it came through though, when I'm looking at it's surrounding the person that's an addict. That's, like I said, I saw them two separately, and actually that narcissist is different. But the addict, the message that came through is that you matter. Because a lot of addicts don't feel like they matter. And the way that we in this society have our perception, or I should say the social mind of addicts and addiction is the population is very misunderstood. A lot of people who have judgment on it have no idea. There's so much misinformation out there. For what we know from science today versus 80 years ago is very different. So, and we're taught through different programs and stuff that we are to let the addict go, whereas to kick them out. And to me, what I have found is that is not true. And we need to keep, there's a difference between helping and enabling, boundaries and tough love. And they're very skewed in this industry. And the bottom line is that when you cut a person off, and you throw them out,
Yeah.
where do you think they're going to go? We have to have compassion, which is, lacking in many different arenas. But
Yeah.
my mission and my passion is for the addiction population.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last year, I have had the message about dealing with the parents, because as a parent of an addict and also in the profession, I've seen what happens in the treatment centers. I've seen detox. I've seen so many different arenas, or so many different avenues in the addiction treatment center that parents are not aware of. But we're so used to blaming the addict. And it's like, we have to bring compassion back to our children, back to our families. And the way that I was just talking about this last night to, I was in a group last night, and about it is, if we want to help the addiction population, we have to change our mindset. We have to open our hearts, and we have to bring that compassion back to them, that they are struggling. And it's like, we can put up boundaries, but until we love them and accept them for who they are, energetically, we become part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because I look at everything as energy, frequency, and it's like, if we are holding them in a negative pattern, which I totally get it, because I've been there. So I get the whole thing where you just, you're frustrated, and it's like, you just, like, I throw my hands up, it's like, I'm done. And that just like, okay, let's just step back and take a breath.
Yeah.
And then we can come back to the arena again, and we can go in and we can, and I call it, it's like, we are being the compassion for our child, because sometimes we're the only ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have to give them something.
So let's bring it into this space. There's something about the book just really wants to come into your heart. So there's something about coming into the heart space. We want to drop your eyes into your heart space. We're going to thank the mind for all of its brilliance, its wisdom and knowledge. It's very, very important. But we're going to come into the heart space. We're going to ask your book to show us one message that's going to create some clarity for you so that you can start to bring this book to life, because that's the most important. The book wants to come to this earth. So let's go into the heart space and listen and see what the book wants to show us. What's going to create clarity for you? So it's interesting. The only thing that I'm seeing is like meadows and rivers and trees. And so symbolically, what I'm hearing is that the book is going to bring you peace. It's going to bring you peace, but it's going to bring so many other people peace. So when you write it from your heart, when you allow it to come through your heart, it gets to be the healing agent for you. So wherever in your body that needs peace, the book brings you peace, but then it goes out and that's what it does. It's the bone broth for others. It's the peace for others. So today, what's coming to your heart? It feels like there's just a little bit of like there just seems to be like a wall. It's like your book is so close, but there seems to be a wall between you bringing it through. Do you know what that wall is?
I'm not sure. Right.
Yeah.
Because I know that one of the things is I feel like it has something to do with and I have talks with myself all the time around it. Because when I first started thinking about working with the parents, like as soon as I got the download, it's the parents. You have to go after the parents. If we're going to be able to help the addicts, you've got to go for the parents.
Yep.
And as soon as I got that, it was just like, I mean, it was amazing. And I said, okay, because I'm used to working on the other side. I'm used to working with the addict. And it was like, okay, I'll do it. And literally, I am not kidding. Within maybe 48 hours, three days maybe, my whole world, just my daughter who had been clean for 5 years, had her life going. I mean, she was waiting to get into nursing school. I mean, everything was going wonderful. And she relapsed. And she was struggling during COVID, as a lot of people were. Yeah. And but it just took me on a roller coaster ride. And it was, she lost everything within 4 months. It really kind of like made me go, oh, how can I work with parents? Because now my daughter's relapsed. And it's like, and then, and it was bad. I mean, I was back and forth, and I was dealing with bad people. And it was like, I am not letting you take my daughter. You're not taking my daughter. And so, and we're still struggling with that. I mean, I was able to get her back here, get her, you know, and there were things that, and she will say to me, even the other day, she said to me, she goes, Mom, I would be dead if you did not do what you did. And it's like, and that's the message. It's like the parents have to understand, like we have to step in. We're asking them to do things that we couldn't do on our best day. Yeah. So there's been that struggle of that, you know, I talk to myself about, but you're doing it. You're doing exactly what you're asking the parents that they need to do. Like you're walking your talk. And it's like, so I'm trying to get past that. Like, okay, I'm doing this, and my daughter relapsed, because that's another one of our biggest fears is when they do get clean. Yep. So I says, I am going through what every parent goes through, and I'm still loving her through it. You know, and so in my mind, it's like, you don't have to have a perfect life in order to be able to help people.
This is the wall. You just named it. Okay. So we're going to clear it out. Okay.
Okay.
Clear out the wall. The wall is, how can I write this book when my daughter relapsed? How can I share this story when my daughter relapsed? And I'm going to tell you right here, right now, Leah, you're the person to write this book because your daughter relapsed. Because every parent is going to go through this shit. If they have a kid who's an addict, they will at some point experience what a relapse looks like. And you're the guide. You're the guide who's going to take them through it, because you're walking it right now. And because it's fresh for you right now. When it's fresh, you write. Because once you're out of it, you're going to forget the hell. But it's the hell that's going to save the parent. Because right now, the parent feels like they're all alone. Feels like they have nobody who understands them. And you writing the hell is going to free them. It's going to be the thing that frees them. Okay? And the thing I keep hearing is righteous rage. Righteous rage changes things. So it's okay if there's a little bit of rage or a lot of bit of rage that shows up, right through it. Because every parent who's going through this has rage. Rage on the system, rage on what happened, rage on, like, we got to bring the righteous rage up to make the difference. Okay?
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Can you feel the wall just broke on your heart?
Yeah, like, and you know, it's funny that you said that, because part of my thing is because I'm so passionate, and I have been. I mean, it's like I started this, or I kind of have thrown into the arena for the last 12 years, and I was given a vision, and that vision has never left. In fact, it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And so But my thing is, because I'm on these parent groups, and I'm on several, which there's probably about maybe 70,000 of us within these groups.
Yeah.
And I see the heartache and the hopelessness, and it's like I want to give them hope. I don't want to tell them, I don't want to do something that's going to make them feel worse. But there's a part of me, it's like, you have to wake up and get back to reality and stop listening to the outside world that's giving you misinformation, and go within. And so anyway, it's
this is needed.
Yeah.
This is needed.
But part of my thing is because of my rage, because I feel like when I talk to people, they go, "Oh, wow, you're really intense." It's like, no, you don't understand. It's like, I'm so passionate about this.
Okay, so I'm going to show you something, okay? I'm going to show you something. Hold on. Let me turn my screen really quick. Okay. So do you see this right here?
Well, I'm going to put my little thumb.
So this is my painting of lava. Okay?
Wow.
I'm going to tell you why I have a lava painting in here. Because lava's intense. Lava's intense as hell. Lava's also the thing that changes the face of the earth. Your intensity is needed to change this world, to change the world of addicts, to change the world with their parents. Don't keep it small. Let it come out. This is the thing that's going to make the difference for people. Okay.
Yep, I get it.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
You had said something earlier about something rage. This is something rage, and it's like, oh, I never thought of it like that.
Righteous rage. That's what I call it.
Righteous rage. Righteous rage. I love that.
Right? Like, think of it. Joan of Arc. Do you think she was like, I'm kind of mad that this is happening? Like, she probably had righteous rage. Like, no more of this shit. Like, let's clean this out, right? Like, it's the righteous rage that actually changes the planet, right? It's this thing of like, no more. No more are children thrown out of their homes. No more are they not being cared for because of the addiction. Like, no more of this. Like, that's righteous rage, because that's what's going to make a difference, and that's going to save lives. Just like you saved your daughter's life, this book has to be written to save all of the other lives. All that needs to happen is your voice coming through and moving the wave. That's what your book is sharing with me.
Cool. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time.
Cool.
Time. So, I want you to take a nice deep breath in. Once you breathe out, I want you to go all the way down to your feet, right below the soles of your feet. We're going to just wake up some fire. But this fire doesn't burn. This fire activates. So you're going to breathe the fire up. You're going to activate all the way up through the sacral chakra, all the way up through the heart, all the way up through the throat, and all the way out through your arms, and all the way out through the crown. You're going to breathe it up again. All the way up, and it's going to leave your body. And this is the fire. This is the fire, like no more dousing the fire. No more dousing the fire. The fire needs to come. It needs to clear the shit out so that change happens. This right here, this is your magic. And it does not want parameters. Can you imagine putting parameters on fire? It doesn't work, right?
Right.
Like, your magic wants no parameters. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm going to send you my masterclass. It'll teach you how to drop into channeling. You don't have to do my way, but it might give you ideas on how your way is, right? The invitation is, today your book begins. And it's very clear that it's not anything you've already written. This is fresh, clean, brand new work coming through.
Okay.
Okay? Oh, I'm excited, Leah. Like, this just woke me up. You, like, woke something up in me today, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so fun. So let's wrap your book. And it's like, so normally I wrap books in light, and your book's like, yeah, you can't wrap me. like it's fire. So, okay, we're not going to wrap you. We're just going to thank it for being here and invite it to continue to work with you so that it can come through with ease. And then we're just going to thank all of our guides who showed up and the magic that was here. And then wrapping you in light and love so that you can keep your nervous system really grounded so that you can be present with such a powerful book. Okay? Right. Okay, keep me updated, okay?
I will. Thank you so much.
If you loved this video, then I invite you to come over with me right here and watch a few more of my book channeling sessions. Join me as I sit with authors and we channel through books that are here to transform humanity. I think you're going to love them.